Fast, focused, and fearless. Here's everything you need to know as you jumpstart your day. I'm Diego Castro. China denies pointing a military-grade laser at a Philippine Coast Guard vessel in the Ayungin Shoal. Chinese Foreign Ministry said their personnel only used a handheld laser to measure distance. But PCG Commodore J. Tarella does not buy this, adding that there are footages of what happened.
Bakit tayo gagamit ng laser kung ang mga barko nila ay equipped naman ng radar? If their interest really is to check the distance of the Philippine Coast Guard from their own vessel, they can always make use of their own radar.
For PCG spokesperson Arman Balillo, it cannot be determined yet if the encounter was an armed attack.
Hindi ko siya makonsider pa, no? Grade pa sa rin sa amin, katulad sa inyo, kung ito isang weapon or just a tactics o isang taktika ng China Coast Guard para ayun nga ma-prevent kami doon sa aming gagawin but not necessarily destroying us. So sa akin medyo gray pa rin pero hindi ko pa rin siya kina-consider na weapon.
Classes in all levels over in Masbate remain suspended today due to the impact of the magnitude 6 quake that hit the province on Thursday. According to the Office of Civil Defense in Bicol, some 61 houses were affected by the earthquake. 2 of these were totally damaged. At least 15 schools in Masbate were also affected. Some areas in the province are still left without power or do not have a stable supply of electricity. Let's get more details on yesterday's quake in this report by Jem Avancenia.
The staff of an electronics store in Ticao Island in Masbate wasted no time in rushing off after a magnitude 6 quake struck the area. The earthquake hit early Thursday morning, leaving some houses damaged. Like this one in Barangay Daplian in San Fernando. Thankfully, no one in the house got hurt.
Kasi malakas talaga. Parang inaalog yung bahay namin tapos maingay yung yero. Akala namin titigil agad. Maya-maya lang nanginginig yung lupa. Kaya sabi nung misis ko, labas tayo.
The Magallanes Coliseum in Masbate City also collapsed. Its ceiling gave way and cracks were left on the walls. Over at the Masbate Provincial Hospital, patients and staff quickly got out the moment they felt the tremor. For now, they are staying in makeshift tents outside the hospital. Some schools also sustained damage, forcing class suspensions. The earthquake also left most areas in Masbate with no electricity, as several transmission posts were toppled by the tremor.
Dahil doon sa earthquake, yung kaninang umaga, nagkaroon ng province-wide na walang kuryente. Except po sa Batuan and Uson. Other municipalities and city po sa Masbate ay wala po ng kuryente.
The Masbate Electric Cooperative is now working double time to restore power. FIVOC says that the magnitude 6 quake that hit Davao de Oro last February 1 and the recent tremor in Masbate are not connected. There is also no threat of a tsunami, but more aftershocks can be expected.
Aftershocks would last for several days to several weeks. So yung advice lang namin sa mga tao kapag nakikita nila yung bahay nila or yung were physically damaged or there are visible damage on their houses, wag muna sila pumasok kasi there might be a strong aftershock and baka totally masira yung bahay.
For News 5, Jem Avancenia, we are One News.
We'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Diego Castro. China has denied deliberately aiming a military-grade laser at a Filipino vessel in the Ayungin Shoal, saying that the light was only used for navigation safety. Still, a former Navy chief warns that tensions in the disputed waters are likely to worsen. Brian Castillo with the details.
Tensions in the South China Sea will likely intensify, at least according to former Philippine Navy Chief Alexander Pama. Speaking to 1PH's Wagpo, Pama says China will hold its ground and refuse to follow international protocols other than its own. Pama was reacting to the recent incident in the Ayungin Shoal, where China directed a military-grade laser at a Philippine Coast Guard vessel. Pama believes rules of conduct at the disputed waters have become ambiguous, making it difficult to determine whether China's actions can be considered an armed attack.
Tayo, merong pinagbabasihan what protocols we're going to follow, and yet, ang katapat natin, mukhang may sariling protocol. Para sa kanila, hindi violation.
China has denied pointing the military-grade laser at the Filipino ship, with Foreign Ministry spokesperson Wang Wenbin noting that the lights were only used for navigation safety. Prior to this statement, China has downplayed yet again the 2016 Hague ruling on the South China Sea, calling it illegal, null and void. The Foreign Ministry spokesperson added that Manila's arbitration case is, quote, pure political drama orchestrated by the U.S. What's clear for Pama is that the Philippines remains at the center of the conflict between these two global superpowers, and that China will continue operating in a gray area to push the limits.
Alam natin itong China, they're very deliberate in their actions. They will continue to push the envelope kung hanggang saan magkaroon ng resistensya. Kailan titigil itong pag-aatras na to? Amerika, kailan ba nila sasabihin, kung baga sa kanto, di ba, yung kinalakihan natin na pag nagkakaduruan, guguhit ka ngayon ng linya, o hanggang dyan ka lang ha, eh yung tinapakan, atras ka, guhit ka na naman ng linya.
President Marcos has earlier summoned Chinese Ambassador Wang Shilian over the incident. But the Chinese envoy said the meeting focused on strengthening communications and managing maritime differences between the two nations. The Philippines and the U.S., on the other hand, are set to hold their biggest Balikatan exercise this year. Philippine Army Commanding General Romeo Bronner said the military drills won't be the same as in previous years.
The exercises will involve a myriad of activities, not just focused on developing the war-fighting capability of both armies or both armed forces, but also of the other non-traditional roles such as humanitarian assistance and disaster response, HADR.
The number of participants is still being finalized, but it's expected to be bigger than last year's record high number of troops at 8,900 Filipino and American servicemen. Balikatan 2023 will begin in April and will last until June. For News 5, Brian Castillo, we are One News.
The Manila International Airport Authority says the chartered flight under probe for suspected human trafficking activities has obtained clearance from the Civil Aviation Authority. The supposed case of human trafficking was revealed by Senator Grace Poe in a privileged speech. Poe says the private plane bound for Dubai was caught without pre-flight inspection. Only 6 people were declared on the manifest, but there were a total of 14 passengers on board. The Immigration Bureau noted that passengers of the chartered flight underwent proper inspection and had clean records. But the PNP Aviation Security Group admits that it was not able to inspect the chartered flight, as doors were immediately locked after boarding.
One of our mandate is to conduct the pre-flight inspection prior to their takeoff in order to ensure that those passengers listed with the manifest and the crew are the same persons who are on board for security reasons.
Sa side ng immigration, we were able to process all their documents naman po. Tiningnan po natin kung sila po ay may derogatory record, kung sila po ay may Interpol hit, at wala naman po so far na nakita. So far po, dun po sa 10 yon, lahat po sila ay dumaan sa immigration formalities and were processed accordingly.
Senator Poe added that the plane is operated by a Hong Kong-registered company whose aircraft is handled by local company Globan Aviation Services. Senator Risa Ontiveros said Globan was involved in the foiled escape of Pharmaly executives in 2021.
Could this be the same Globan flight provider that attempted to smuggle Mohit and Twinkle Dargani out of the country, at the height of the Pharmaly investigation? Mayroon pong nag-figure doon na Globan November.
So same, is it the same company?
Mr. President. So apparently it is the same company.
Here are other headlines we're keeping our eyes on. Pampanga Representative and former President Gloria Macapagal Arroyo leads the filing of a House resolution to declare unequivocal defense for former President Duterte as he faces an ICC investigation into the drug war. Adopted resolutions do not have the force of law but only express the Chamber's position. Senator Robin Padilla is calling for the ban and condemnation of the U.S. film Plane, which features Hollywood star Gerard Butler for supposedly putting the Philippines in a bad light. Padilla calls on the MTRCB to ban the public showing of the film, noting that its narration was problematic as it showed Jolo as a rebel-infested island, which the senator noted is no longer the case. Tourists have all the more reason to head out to Baguio with the opening of its latest attraction, the now blooming Burnham Lake. From being green and murky, the man-made lake has now become clean and blue through the use of biotechnology and substances like algae killers. The blooming Burnham Lake has been open to tourists since Valentine's Day. And that's it for this hour. Join us again at 7:45 a.m. as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. You can also catch One News on Signal Play. Register an account now at signalplay.com so you can stream One News live anytime, anywhere. I am Diego Castro. We are One News, all sides, all the time.